Welcome to Growth Mindset Mastery. The title of this episode is From Hidden to Highlighted, a roadmap to revealing your true abilities. This episode has an accompanying worksheet that you can download from the link in the video description. You might want to pause and do that before you continue with this lesson. Also, if you find any value in this video, please like and subscribe. Doing so will really help our channel grow. Finding your niche is really one of the most critical things that you're going to do as an entrepreneur when you start your business career. Knowing your niche is essential to understanding and establishing your unique brand and making yourself stand out. It really has so much to do with defining who you are and what your business really is. As you get started, think back to the principles we discussed in earlier videos about how important it is that we keep all of our actions and decisions, all of our behaviors, our values, the governing principles that impact our lives, our goals, and our business model all in alignment. By living and working in alignment, we can set the stage for having a fulfilling and productive life, and we avoid the inherent stress that caused by internal conflicts from losing the connection between the goals and values and principles of our best selves and some compromised action or decision or choice that we feel like we've been forced to make in our business life. To live in alignment really is to be true to yourself and true to others. It's the essence really of all ethical thought and behavior. Now we're going to take a different tack on the concept of alignment as we talk about finding your business niche, because your new business has its best chance of success when it finds its niche and offers a unique offering to a specific, defined, targeted market segment that's going to give you a wonderful, exclusive, and extraordinary opportunity for success. So as you look to find your niche, business alignment comes into play once again in a very powerful way. Now, we'll be talking about a different kind of alignment, that of aligning your talents, your abilities, and your passions with your business. This is an equation that, as an entrepreneur, you absolutely have to get right, or else you're never going to enjoy what you're doing, and your work is never going to bring you fulfillment at their core. Most educational and training programs are designed to help us become something that we're not. Even here at the Growth Mindset Mastery channel, we're not much different. You know, I've put this content together to help first-time business owners succeed. And part of that process is to help turn non-entrepreneurs into entrepreneurs. There's a part of me that's kind of troubled by that. Let me explain. Although I love learning and I'm naturally curious about a lot of things, there are a few things that don't interest me at all. I suppose that's a problem that I had when I was a student in school. You know, I look back and I wish that they had let me just take the classes I wanted to take, the classes that I was good at, the classes that I was really interested in and that I had a talent for. I think that I might have gone much further in my formal education if that had been the case, but that wasn't the case. I had to take classes that I hated and that bored me to tears. I had to spend, or at least I felt like I had to spend, all my valuable study time trying to memorize all the stuff that I hated so that I can pass a test instead of being able to really explore the things that I loved. A poll that I ran across recently showed that 77% of parents in the United States think that the students' lowest grades are the things that deserve the most attention. I think that that says a lot about the mindset that we have, that the things that we're failing at and the things that we're struggling with require the most time and attention. But you know what? I knew I was never going to use a lot of that stuff again. And you know what? I was right. I never have used most of that stuff again. Do you see the flaw in the process of focusing on those things that we struggle with? We focus so much of our energy on our weaknesses instead of on our strengths. We love to glorify and celebrate the successes of the underdog, which is probably why one of my favorite movies is The Miracle About the US Hockey Team beating the Soviet Union back in the 1980 Olympics. It's part of the fabric of our society, probably dating back to the days when a small, relatively disorganized, undersupplied and overpowered group of revolutionaries and visionaries defeated the greatest economic and military superpower the world had, none, and by the way, gave birth to the United States of America. So now, when anyone overcomes their natural limitations and realizes success, we call that the American dream, and we make movies about it. It inspires us, and it should. We tell our children that they can be anything that they want to be if they just try hard enough. It might be the American dream, but unfortunately it's also taking what's called the path of greatest resistance, which in business dramatically increases our odds of failure. We forget that the reason they make movies about these things is because they're so uncommon, but it's ingrained in us culturally, and we may never outgrow it. I think I saw this happen to my high school math teacher. I was a freshman in high school, and she was an absolutely unbelievable teacher. She could explain complicated theories and formulas in a way that actually made sense to me. And believe it or not, it actually made math enjoyable, which I didn't think was possible. But she insisted on becoming an administrator instead of a teacher, and she abandoned her natural gifts. She got her wish and was eventually hired as the high school principal, where, frankly, she wasn't a success. She was fired after several difficult and challenging years. I'm sure the pay was a lot better, but she seemed to age a decade almost overnight. I remember seeing her and thinking that she couldn't possibly be enjoying what she was doing. In a world where time is our most precious resource, I have to wonder if she'd like to have that time back again as a teacher. I think those are very important questions. They're important for you to consider as you look to find your business niche right now. Also, because you can choose between jumping after a perceived opportunity that promises supposedly great riches with a business doing something that's either foreign to you or worse, that sound appealing to you. Or you can choose to go into business doing something that fits your strengths, fits your passions, or something that you love doing. All of that sounds like an obvious choice. You might be surprised at how many entrepreneurs choose the path of greatest resistance. The Gallup organization has conducted numerous studies over several decades to determine how talent's applied in a variety of roles in business and industry. And their results are a bit disturbing. Gallup found that roughly 70% of people don't have an opportunity to focus on what they do best. These people, they found, are 6 times less likely to be really engaged in their jobs. And this applies not only to employees, but also to employers and business owners. No wonder this is called the path of greatest resistance. We make ourselves the underdog. We focus on areas that we're not necessarily good at, and we struggle to succeed. People who aren't able to use their strengths at work dread going to work. Statistically, they treat their customers poorly. They have far more negative interactions with co-workers than positive interactions. They achieve less. They have fewer creative moments. They contribute far less to the company's bottom line. They tend to be distractions. They lack confidence in what they do. And actually, they've shown that statistically, they have more health problems. It appears that the cost of being out of alignment with our talents and strengths appears to be extraordinarily high. Back in 2003, the Journal of Personality reported a 23-year study of 1,000 children in New Zealand that showed that the strengths and talents of a child at the age of 3 was essentially the same strengths and talents that they had at age 26. Apparently, our talents and our strengths have remained pretty stable over the years. So by identifying our talents and strengths, and then focusing our energies to develop them even more, which, by the way, is very hard work, we can actually take the path of least resistance, or in other words, the path have the greatest chance of success. There's an author named Tom Rath who's written a number of books on strength-based management, and he suggested an equation that he uses to determine strength. Here's the formula that he's put together. He says that you take talents, which is our natural way of thinking, of acting or behaving, and you multiply by our investment, or the time that we spend practicing and developing skills and gaining new knowledge. Our strength, or the capacity to consistently deliver near-perfect performance, comes from multiplying that talent by our investment. Talent, multiplied by our commitment and our investment, equals our strength. So here at the Growth Mind Mastery, you're going to bring with you some inherent talents, some inherent skills, some inherent strengths. And you're taking time to try and develop those, to learn more and to gain an understanding and knowledge of business principles so that you're going to be able to develop this into a strength of yours as an entrepreneur. And that's a great thing. There are 7 ways basically that you can approach this idea of identifying your natural abilities. If you break it down into these 7 different areas and think about them individually, you're going to find that your thought process is going to guide you down the path to identify the things that you are good at and the things that you do the best. Think about this. 1. Think about the way that you spontaneously react to situations. When there is a problem, how do you naturally respond? If there's a new situation that comes up, something that's unfamiliar to you, how do you naturally react to that? How do you deal with surprises? How do you naturally respond to being put in groups of people or to uncertainty? When you really think about the natural, spontaneous way that you react to challenges and issues in your life, you will begin to identify patterns that will demonstrate certain strengths. 2. Identify what you really yearn for. What are your deepest, your most closely held desires and yearnings? What are you intrinsically motivated to do, and not just for the rewards of doing it, but just for the sake of doing it? Is there something that you inherently yearn for just because you find fulfilling? 3. Identify your rapid learnings, which are those things that you pick up easily. What are the things that you really enjoy learning about, that you feel like when you spend time on that topic or on those issues, it just expands your mind and makes you more complete? What are those things that you really love to learn about that you pick up so quickly? 4. Identify your satisfactions. What activities, what things do you do that bring you the deepest sense of fulfillment and satisfaction? 5. What fires you up and gives you energy? What activities do you find are energy drains that just kind of leak energy, and after finishing leaves you feeling so drained? And conversely, what activities just charge you up and re-energize you? And will it leave you feeling more energetic after you finished the activity than before you started? When do you feel that you're at your best? 6. How you do like to spend your time. What is something productive that you like to do when you don't have to do anything? 7. What is your future vision for yourself? What do you see in yourself? Where will you be in a year? Where will you be in 5 years? What do you like best about yourself? What do you like to do to feel good about yourself? If you are able to identify those 7 areas of your life, the way that you spontaneously react, the things that you yearn for, the things that come easily to you, the things that you're able to learn the quickest, the things that bring you the greatest satisfaction and fulfillment, the things that leave you re-energized and charged up, and the things that you choose to spend your time on, and the things that fit your vision for yourself, you are going to have a very clear understanding of the strengths, talents, and abilities that you inherently bring to the table. It only makes sense to build your business model around those strengths. You'll be following the path of least resistance to your success, because you will be doing the things that you do best. Now, I've got a worksheet that I mentioned at the top of this lesson that I'd like you to take out. Take a look at the worksheet, which is entitled Identifying Your Abilities. This is going to be your homework for this lesson. I'd like you to get out a separate piece of paper, or preferably get a legal pad or a notebook, and write down your answers to the questions on that sheet. Set aside some time when you can do this undisturbed, maybe within the next 24 hours, since these are going to be your own private notes. Really focus on opening yourself up and being honest with yourself. You don't necessarily have to answer all the other questions. I know that there's a number of questions on that sheet, but I would recommend that you at least answer half of the questions on that sheet. And then after you finish, put the sheet down and let the answers cool off overnight, at least overnight, and then pick them up again and review them from a different perspective. Then I want you to imagine that someone else actually wrote those responses. And then with that perspective, I'd like you to look through those responses for any patterns that show up in the answers, and look for clues that demonstrate the natural abilities or talents of the person who wrote those answers down. Write down what you found and what you discovered, and do that in some detail. I think if you'll take time to really do this exercise, really open yourself up, and really try to analyze it from an objective perspective, a point of view where you're looking at those responses as if somebody else wrote them down, you're going to be able to find some common threads of talents and ability that perhaps you hadn't previously identified about yourself. So, that's your homework assignment for this episode. By identifying, recognizing, and maximizing your abilities, talents, and strengths, you're going to discover your unique business niche. As you develop your business model, you can look for as many ways as possible for you to be able to do the things that you're naturally good at. Then put together a plan on how you're going to improve and develop the natural abilities and talents that you've identified. Even more, remember, life is an ongoing quest to focus your desires, your goals, and your behaviors on achieving the pinnacle of fulfillment in every element of your life. Whether it's in your business, in your personal life, or with your family, seek the peak in everything that you do. Thanks for watching. I hope that you found this information to be valuable and a worthwhile investment of your time. Please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments or suggestions on this material or any other part of the Growth Mindset Mastery channel, please comment. I would enjoy hearing from you. Thanks for watching. Let's get together again soon. Here is to your great life.